Okay, A pushers. So here's what you're going to do with the Alien and Sedition Act. So let me give you a little bit of background here. Let me give you some context. So Alexander Hamilton is the Speaker of the House at this time. John Adams is the President of the United States. Both are Federalists. Alexander Hamilton, remember his view of who should rule: the wealthy, the educated, the elite. He believes that those people have special gifts, they have special abilities, they should be the ones to rule. Well, Alexander Hamilton is increasingly becoming afraid of immigrants. Since we've become an independent country, there's been a crush of immigration into the United States, particularly a lot of Irish and a lot of Scotch coming in to the country, but there's also a lot of Germans coming in at this time as well. And this really scares Alexander Hamilton because he doesn't like immigrants, and most of these immigrants are poor, and he doesn't like the poor. So these guys got two double whammies against him. And he's worried that these people eventually, at some point in time, will be able to get a piece of land and then be able to vote. So he wants to prevent the immigrants and the poor and the uneducated from voting. He wants to prevent immigrants from gaining any power in the country at this time. So Alexander Hamilton comes up with a plan called the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798. And the whole plan is about preventing poor and immigrants from gaining power in the country. And he convinces John Adams that this is a good idea, and John Adams signs it into law. Once this law is enacted, it enrages Thomas Jefferson, who now becomes an open adversary to John Adams. And it enrages James Madison, who wrote the Constitution. James Madison now changes his political affiliation from being a Federalist to being a Jeffersonian or a Democratic Republican. This was a major, major event. The author of the Constitution has now changed his political party because of a law. And Thomas Jefferson and James Madison now begin to travel around the country encouraging people, encouraging states to defy these laws. So that's what you're going to do. Here's a copy of the Alien and Sedition Acts. Some questions that you need to answer. Be sure you answer fully, explain your answer. That's really important. And then here's the Kentucky resolutions, which are passed in November of 1798. And then Virginia resolutions, which are passed in December of 1798. And answer these questions. Now, here's some really, really important information for you to have that will help you help you complete the assignment, answer the questions, I guess. And and this slide will also be on Google Classroom, so you can refer back to it. So there's a question about the 10th Amendment, and here's what the 10th Amendment says. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Essentially meaning that unless the Constitution says the federal government can do this, if it doesn't explicitly say the federal government does this, then that's the responsibility and that's the power reserved directly to the states. Only the only powers the federal government has are listed in the Constitution. And Amendment 10 says if the Constitution doesn't give the government that ability, then it's the power of the states. Remember that. Also, background knowledge. Virginia is one of the oldest states in the Union. Virginia is the first colony. Virginia becomes the 10th state to join the Union on June 25th, 1788, by ratifying the Constitution, right? They become the 10th state to ratify the Constitution. Virginia is one of these old established territories. It's the first colony. It's one of the first states. Kentucky becomes the 15th state, and they joined the Union on June 1st, 1792. Kentucky in 1796 is the youngest state in the country. It is the last state to join the country in 1798. That's some background knowledge that you hopefully will be able to use. All right? So go do the Alien Sedition Acts now that you've got some background knowledge. Read the act, answer the questions fully and completely, and then read the Virginia and the Kentucky resolutions. Really quick, let me give you one more piece of information. The Kentucky resolution is delivered before the Kentucky State Legislature by Thomas Jefferson. James Madison reads the Virginia resolution before the Virginia state legislature. So go do it. Good luck.